Hello, and welcome to the Ohio Rotary Multi-District Session on the importance of public image to your club. Let's meet tonight's presenters from Rotary Zone 30, Miss Allison Fry, Assistant Rotary Public Image Coordinator, and Laura Carey, Rotary Public Image Coordinator, Zone 30. Welcome, ladies.
Well, I'm Laura Carey. I am from Vincennes, Indiana, which is in District 6580. I'm the Zone 30 Rotary Public Image Coordinator, and I'm happy to be working with your very own Allison Fry. 12 hours ago, I was on a plane coming back from Moscow. I was in Moscow for 8 days. Training District 2223 Rotarians on club visioning. So it was very exciting, but I will tell you, I'm happy to be back. Okay. Allison, thank you.
Well, let's talk a little bit about what we're going to do today. We're going to do a little overview of what is public image for Rotary. We're going to tell you the 5 things you need to know about public image. You'll have some district breakout room time to kind of chat with your other fellow president-elects. And then what I'm really excited about, I get to interview my club president, Lorena Gloden, about what she has done related to public image. And this is a passion of mine. I was actually a district public image chair before I was club president. And so I took this really seriously when I was in your shoes. And I will tell you, although I've had a ton of roles in Rotary, being a club president was my absolute favorite. And so I'm excited to talk to you about how this topic is going to combine with your role as president. But first, just wanted to say happy birthday to Rotary. In case you didn't know, or your club hasn't shared it on Facebook, today is Rotary's birthday. Sadly, I did not make any of you a cake, and that's probably a good thing because I'm not very good at that. But maybe you can celebrate or say a little cheers tonight that we've been doing good in the world for 117 years. Pretty cool. All right, Laura, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Thanks so much, Allison. So let's get right into this. So what is public image? Is it what we tell our members? Is it what we tell our community friends and business associates? So I really want to hear from you. What do you think public image is? Either in the reaction function or put it in the chat and let me know what you think it is. So let's get some chatting going and let's see what we have. Steve King in 6670 says it's PR, public relations. See more chats here. Joe, the way people in the public view Rotary. Bruce, District 6600, unmute. Yes, Bruce.
Well, I guess I'm wrong, but it seemed to me that public image is how Rotary is perceived by others.
Okay, all right. Thank you, Bruce.
In other words, yeah.
Okay. Lawrence, go ahead and unmute yourself.
We look at it as our brand. I mean, of Rotary as itself, but also what we're bringing to the community and what we're offering if you want to be a member with us.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. Let's see what else other people say. How Rotary is perceived by others. Karen, Stacy, the front-facing impression of an organization. Albert, our public face. Arnie, what people think of Rotary. David, what people think about Rotary what people think about when they think of Rotary. Let's see, perception is reality. That's from Trevor. Sheila, how people recognize Rotary. Those are great answers to that question. And honestly, I can say truly there's no wrong answer here. I don't like to tell someone they're wrong. But when we talk about public image for Rotary, we're talking about what we tell the public. It is what is called external facing. The members of the club should know what their club is doing within the community. However, the outside world really doesn't know. We've kept it all to ourselves for so many years. what Rotarians have thought for 100 years is we don't want to make a big deal about what we do. Well, folks, the fact is, you better make a big deal of what we do because we do great things. So let's ask ourselves, why is image important? Since over 100 years, Rotarians have not done a good job telling their story in the community. And let's face it, not even our own members realize this at times. So there are a few things it's important to do. Number one, educate the community on the club projects. Let people know through social media, word of mouth, radio, interact clubs. Let people know what's happening. Build relationships with community organizers. If you build those relationships, you will be able to make more of an impact with your community. Also, if you follow through on these projects, then other organizations will want to partner with you. Why? Because you get the job done. You are transparent. That's what Rotary is all about. Then you can increase your impact in the community. Again, the more projects you do with strong partnerships, the more of an impact you'll be able to do within your community. So let's increase a public awareness through storytelling. And if you accomplish the first 3 items that I just talked about, we discussed, then the public will be more aware of the great things Rotarians can accomplish. And lastly, increase membership. Aren't we always looking for service-minded community members to join our clubs and join our Rotary families? Well, if they see what a great job you're doing in our communities, then they're more likely to become a part of our Rotary family. There are 4 great benefits here. You're increasing the visibility of your club. You're engaging your current members. Let's never forget about your current members. Then comes increasing memberships and therefore contributions to your projects and to the Rotary Foundation. And finally, you gain partnerships and the support needed for local projects to make more of an impact. Well, let's look at the 5 things you need to know. The first thing is the Rotary brand matters. Well, I know right now you might be saying, why? Why does the Rotary brand matter? Each one of these brands that you see are all internationally recognized. Each one of these brands you see they have a cohesive message internationally, except for one. Now, which one do you think that is? You've got Coca-Cola. I can tell you, I saw Coca-Cola in Russia. Number 2, Mercedes-Benz. The same thing. I saw it in Russia. And let's not forget Apple, known everywhere. But what about Rotary International? Do we see that cohesive message? No matter where you think that you are, these brands are always recognized. Yes, they've changed through the years. However, they throw out the old and in with the new. So why don't we? Now let's look at the outdated or incorrect logos. Now, I can guarantee you this is not what you'll see on the Brand Center. These are old logos, and Rotary International has deleted all of these logos from the Brand Center and all of its public image platforms and correspondence. If you're still using any of these logos, I'm asking you to please replace them at least on social media for right now. I will tell you, I've seen to this day so many of these logos out, even on social media. So here are some of the correct Rotary logos. So Rotary has worked very, very hard throughout the years to design all of these Rotary logos. As we're talking about on the last slide, the Rotary brand, their logo is their brand. Remember that. You have a master brand, and the word that says Rotary with the actual mark of excellence right beside it. This is actually the correct brand. Now, there are 3 different ways that you're able to design this master brand. Master brand that has underneath it the people of action. You have the master brand, which is called actually a lockup logo, where you have the master brand, and over to the side, you have the people of action. And down to the bottom, it has the Rotary master brand, and then it has the Rotary theme of the year. You have what is called the mark of excellence, and that should never be used alone. You use that along with your master brand. Now, we talked about the lockup theme logo. Now down on the bottom it says Imagine Rotary. That's really for more internal use, because if you think about it, every year when we change presidents, you have a new theme. So putting the theme on your master brand really is more internal. If you put it out there every year to the public, it might get a little confusing for them. So when you're using the theme lockup logo, just think about that and try to keep that internal. But all of these logos can be found on the brand center, and you're even able to design a logo of your own.
Yeah, that's great kind of segue into the second topic. So first is just respect the brand. Make sure you're using the right logos and that your club is. Second thing is use your resources. And there's 2 resources I want to share with you. You've likely heard them at a district event or from your district governor-elect at some point, but just want to reinforce that as Rotarians, unfortunately, we can't give you every single material you're going to need to use to lead your club, but we can give you the resources to help you. The first is the Rotary Brand Center. In addition to creating your own logo, you can download the theme logos for the year there. You can download PowerPoint presentations, Zoom backgrounds. There's a variety of material. There's more getting added all of the time. So I would just encourage you to, as you're developing some kind of material or printed document or something from social media, please check with the Brand Center. And this is located at rotary.org. You have to be logged into your My Rotary account, and then you will have access to the Brand Center. Second thing I want to talk to you about is the Rotary Learning Center. So there's a variety of courses there that are going to be helpful to you as president-elect, not even related to public image. But if you get somebody in your club who wants to help you with public image, I would really encourage you to assign these courses, encourage them to take these courses. So when you go to the Rotary Learning Center, it kind of looks just like this. It's topic driven, pretty easy to navigate. But then there are different courses that you can sign up for. So there are things that the things in blue are learning plans. So you can see that it contains 8 courses related to Club Public Image Committee basics. And then you'll also see the brown documents, or orange, whatever color you're seeing there. Those are individual courses that people can take. So I would really encourage you to, if you get some new volunteers for your club who want to assist, get them plugged in with these first, because there's some foundational basics. There's things about using the Brand Center right there. There's public relations content there. So make sure you check that out. The third thing you need to know as a president-elect is that you need to build your team. So here's the secret. As your club's president, you are going to be 100% closest to the action. You are going to know what's going on in almost every facet of your club. And so that does put you in a unique situation, because you're probably the best person to position what needs to be shared with your community, what needs to be shared with your members, even what needs to be shared with your district. But that doesn't mean that you have to do it alone. And I would really encourage you to not do it alone. You do have district and zone resources. So your district public image chair that your governor-elect will introduce you to is going to be a huge resource for you, probably your first point person if you need some help. There's also zone leadership like Laura and myself. And for many of the districts in Ohio, Keith Hodkinson is your zone public image contact. And ways that you can leverage these resources would just be to be a speaker at a meeting or a retreat or an event to kind of review your marketing materials. They're not going to create it for you, but they can give you feedback on what you've created. They can provide feedback on campaigns or maybe give you an idea of, I heard this club did this, and maybe you might want to borrow their materials. And they can also give you training on the brand center, how you can actually create logos. We don't have enough time tonight to go through every of the tactical things that you would need to do on the brand center, but your district and zone leaders are here to help. So then your club team, you're going to need a variety of people. You really probably can't even just appoint one person to do all of these things, because here's just some ideas of things someone on your public image team could do. Social media, newsletter, press releases, meeting materials, to promote a weekly meeting, a photographer. Maybe you need some help with your internal communications, what you're communicating to members so they communicate the right things out to the world, producing videos. It's a very rare person that can do all of those things, but you might find individuals who have an expertise in one of those things. And the other thing I'll tell you is, even if the person doesn't have a career in that particular topic, I'm a good example. I'm a commercial banker by trade, but I do kind of all of this as a volunteer hobby. I'm interested in learning how to do these things. Most of it has been self-taught. And so there might be somebody in your club who's looking to serve, who has some time to serve, maybe wants to leverage one of these skills that they can then take back to their professional vocation. So I'm a big proponent of, let people learn some of these things in a volunteer setting too. And there might be times where you need to hire something out because it's that important that your club needs to have a great presentation of it. Okay, Laura, back to you on the theme.
Okay, let's talk about the theme. So the theme for 22-23 is Imagine Rotary. And this is one of my favorite things that I read about the theme is imagine a world that deserves our best when we get up each day knowing that we can make a difference. And that was one of Jennifer's quotes. And that really resonated with me. And I thought, just think about that every day and truly imagine what you can do and how you can share all the great things that your Rotary Club does. But here's a little secret. When we go to the themes, Rotary has already got monthly Rotary themes. And if you want to kind of get started on what are some of the things that we should put on social media, start with basic things that Rotary has already put together. The monthly themes. February is peace and conflict resolution and prevention. So all you have to do, if you're not sure where any of these are, Google Rotary International monthly themes, and it all appears. And you can really start a campaign by just using those things. Rotary has so much information out there on the brand center and on the website that you can start sharing these things. Once you get used to doing that, then you're going to be able to get more comfortable and develop your own things. These are very simple things to do to start a very strong public image campaign for your clubs. Allison, let's tell your story. Tell the story.
Right. Last and not certainly not least, because it honestly is the whole point of all of this, is that we just want to share more of the Rotary stories, more of what's happening in your club, the good things out with the world. And if you don't have anything to share, that's probably something to think about too, is that you need to have activity within your club. Nobody's dying to go dine at the restaurant that has nobody eating at it. You want to go to a place that seems vibrant and full of action. And people see an empty restaurant in the Rotary world as, your club website that the last article was updated in 2018, which isn't too far-fetched with COVID and people not doing much for a couple of years. They want to go to a Facebook page where it looks like something relevant happened. They want to see things that are coming up that they can go to or that they can participate in. Your community wants to be volunteering for your projects, not just told about it after the fact. So really flip your thinking from just reporting about what already happened to really thinking about how you can share what's coming up. And there's a variety of different ways to tell your story. In the essence of time, I'm going to kind of skip through this, but really we know why we tell stories, because it makes a lot more sense. It sticks with people in a better way. There's all kinds of things that you can share that we've talked about and that you'll talk about in your breakout rooms, but really start to think about, what is that thing about your club that is really attractive, that's a great project that more people should know about, or if more people knew about it, perhaps they would want to join Rotary. And those are the things to celebrate. And then where do you tell that story? I mean, obviously social media is not new. There's a variety of different formats and layouts, but we do see that the darlings of social media change all of the time. Depending on your age, depending on your profession, things are different. So it's not just a world of Facebook anymore. We're finding things like Snapchat, like TikTok are really becoming areas where people are looking for information. If you become in their feed, that's great. They'll follow your information and provide some creativity on how you can share your story. There's also, of course, traditional media like radio, newspaper, and TV. And we do find that some of these sources are kind of dying for really good content, but you have to be able to produce a visual with it. You have to tell the story. You have to engage that media on why they might want to cover your event. And then the whole idea is that we are people of action. And so we want action related photos. We want people to see that we are creating solutions. So we want some fun content on our pages, on our social media, but we also do want to share those relevant, important stories so that we can, again, attract people to our wonderful organization, an organization that is changing the world. Okay, it is time to go in your breakout rooms. And I know we just gave you kind of a bunch of information about public image. It's my hope that this is not the first time you're hearing about it, but I want you to put your hat on with this in the seat of the president. You are going to have this information that needs to be shared. So your questions during your breakout time, and your district governor or your district public image chair will help with this, is, what is the most attractive thing about your club right now? And how can you share that with your community in a creative way? Second question related to the theme, Imagine Rotary. How could you use this theme this year to create interest in your club? Then finally, let's talk about our teams, because I don't want you to leave this meeting thinking that you need to do this alone. I hope you take a takeaway of, I need to find some people to help me. And secret, if you've got children or grandchildren, they can kind of help with some of this too. Do you have a public image team? What does it look like? And how can you build your team this year? I'm going to stop sharing and allow David to do his magic and tell us what we need to do.
Well, good. That's a great session. Thank you, Allison. In a moment, you're going to see breakout rooms pop up. The breakout rooms are by your district. Please select the district that you are from, and you'll be sent to the room. Enjoy. Hello, and welcome back. We hope you had a great breakout session. Now for an interview. Allison?
Well, I'm super excited today too. We wanted to give you an interview with an actual club president. Lorena is a president as we speak. She maybe has 122 days until she's done. We'll have 120 days, 22 days until you begin. That anyone's counting, right? I put up a slide here just to show you, and I'll stop in a second. Just wanted to show you some of the things that, just a visual of a couple of things that Lorena has done related to public image. She created this Reconnect Week idea, where there was a week of different things that were approachable to bring other people to, and as well as this Fiesta Latina, which I'm sure we'll talk a little bit more about. She partnered with a community organization to promote a fundraiser that's coming up in a few months. So it was kind of a way to get the word out about Rotary with more than just putting our logo on something, kind of promoting something that we have going soon. So I'm excited to have you all hear from her a little bit about what she's done with public image. So Lorena, my first question for you is tell me a little bit about your Rotary journey. How did you get involved with Rotary?
Thank you, Allison, for inviting me tonight. I'm very excited to be here. I became very active when I was 15 years old with Interact in Cucuta, Colombia. I'm originally from Cucuta, Colombia. And when I was 17, I participated in the youth exchange program from Cucuta to the US, to East Jordan, Michigan. And that was 1 year experience, which I absolutely love. And went back to Colombia. And when I was in college, I was part of the Rotary Club, became very involved in Rotary. And when I moved back to the States, I joined Rotary. I was at the university in an event, and I had the international student advisor ask me if I wanted to join Rotary. And I absolutely, said yes. So that was back in 2004. And became very active with the youth exchange program between Colombia and the United States, supporting the program with the inbound coordinators and outbound coordinators. And later on, I became at the club level at the Saginaw Sunrise Rotary Club. I became the youth exchange officer. And then 2 years later, the district asked me if I wanted to be the inbound chair for District 6310. And that was my job, and I absolutely love it. It gave me the opportunity to, to do so many things internationally. So that's my story with Rotary. And then moved to Perrysburg, and of course, I transferred my membership and back in 2017, and then and here I am. So that's Rotary for me. So it means a lot.
Yeah, I have to tell you, when you're in a club and you get somebody like Lorena who says they want to transfer to your club, you're like, oh, we hit the jackpot. But I do think that she probably wasn't necessarily expecting to become president. We have a fairly large club, or low 100s is our number. And so she has done a great job kind of stepping in. Obviously, she was not new to the Rotary world, but she was new to our club and leading things. So tell me though, this year, since we're talking public image, what have you done to leverage different members of the club related to public image and helping you?
Yes. So the first thing that I did is to create a committee, the public image committee. And then we started having conversations and things of what we wanted to do and so forth. So I had worked with the past president, who is really good with graphic design. He writes amazing articles. I mean, he is, his name is Bob Benzel. So he gets ideas from different members, and he puts them in the media, which is amazing. So everybody knows in the community what the Perrysburg Rotary Club has done before with Mesa, how we support international projects. He writes different newspapers. I had also worked with, I had found really talented people. Don't let this be the job of one person. So I know 3 or 4 people who are really good with making flyers, and I had worked very closely with them. And I try to work with them in a different occasions so I don't burn them out. I like to do flyers as well. I find Canva very useful and very amazing tool. So I can go to 3 or 4 members when I want to do a flyer and promote a team meeting or something like that. Back in December, I did the ugly sweater theme holiday meeting. And that was pretty cool. I mean, everybody liked it. And I had some, I asked another member who was very talented, can you do the flyer for me? It's ugly sweater theme. And, she did an amazing job. So things like that they create the excitement with the members. You can promote the theme meeting, you can promote different activities. And, I had talked to different people and just use the talents and the skills that other people have. So I've been able to do that for flyers. I've been able to do that for an article that, many different articles that have been published in the newspaper. And this is probably one of my favorite ones. When we decided to do our fundraiser, we decided that it was going to be Fiesta Latina, which it means in English, a Latin party. The person who designed a logo came to me and said, okay, you got to tell me, I don't know anything about Latin parties. You got to tell me what exactly you want in that logo. And I said, I want the silhouette of a man and a woman dancing. And he just did exactly what I was looking for. And I said, and I want 2 instruments next to that logo. And that's exactly what we have. So he created this, and we have been able to promote this. We had the Winter Fest last weekend here in Perrysburg, a very well attended event here in town. And I asked the committee, okay, so I have this idea. Let's put this, besides that we're going to have the ISIS culture in one corner in downtown Perrysburg, why don't we do hot cocoa at the ISIS culture and ask the Rotarians to stop by, get some hot cocoa, get pictures, shared in the media, and that's exactly what we did. And I mean, it was 24 degrees, but it was amazing to see everybody in, stopping by at the corner and getting pictures by the Fiesta Latina ISIS culture. So
I love that. I was going to ask a little bit more about that. So thank you for just going right into that. So these picture moments are really important. Having a place where people can take something that's a really good visual. That was the genius of this event, is it wasn't just people standing in a meeting. It was a really cool visual where people wanted to get their picture taken with it. And I've seen those pictures all over social media this week. So it was definitely super, super effective. So if you were to kind of make one more goal or something else that you're trying to do this year that you haven't accomplished yet, related to public image, what would it be?
It will have to definitely be the website. And sometimes it's difficult because we have to follow a template, right? And we have to follow certain protocols with Rotary and things like that. But we want to, sometimes we're hoarders of so many pictures and content and things like that. So we have to go kind of like a little bit leaner in that way. So it's something that is in the process, it's in the making, but it's not done yet. So I think a website should speak the story of the Rotary Club. And that would be one of the biggest goals. And right now we're going to have the video that is coming up for our big event, Fiesta Latina, which, by the way, everybody's invited, April 29th. We moved the date from February 5th to April 29th. And we're going to launch the video that is going to be promoting what we have done so far, the legacy projects that the Rotary Club had done throughout the year. So it tells a story in 2 minutes and 30 seconds, something like that. So very excited about that as well. Another tool that we're going to be using. So
great. Well, you've mentioned social media, print media, emails to people, club website, video, lots of different mediums that you've been able to tackle. And you're right, things like a website. I think that was actually something I wanted to work on when I was club president 4 years ago. So it's definitely a big project. Really, it takes a couple.
Yes.
We're focused on just that. And unfortunately, we are volunteers, so we have to do this. So, this group of presidents that you're talking to, Lorena, they're in a different position than you are. So, 2 years ago, those presidents kind of lost the last few months of their presidency due to COVID. And then there was a year where things were pretty much shut down. And now your class of presidents, you're kind of coming out of it, doing more in-person meetings and in-person events. So you're kind of seeing the events. So thinking about this upcoming group of presidents who's maybe trying to think about how do we rally members coming back to meetings and how do we tell the community we're still doing great work? What piece of advice would you give to this group of presidents about public image?
One thing that I've noticed that creates excitement with the members and they talk about it is try to have in your calendar, have the layout of the Rotary calendar and do sketches and decide to do a theme meeting at least once a month. And as I like to say in Spanish, have that spice to it. Like when I have the ugly sweater theme, everybody liked it. I mean, it's so fun when you hear people say, "Oh my gosh, that was a great idea!" And we had like 10 members that show up with the ugly sweater theme. That was a big deal. I hired a guitar player that came and serenade the club, and so I have different flyers around the table so people can select the song that the guitar player, could perform that day. By the way, he sang in 3 languages, so that was super spectacular. And then people enjoyed that. And that was in another location, not a typical location. So the setting was just perfect. But the message is that try to do a theme meeting and try to create that excitement and that element of surprise to the members. Back in September, I announced that I was going to be doing the big reveal of what our fundraiser was going to be. And I did, I kept it as a secret in the committee, and then I put it in the email and my Sunday email saying, we're going to do the big reveal September 10th. Come to the meeting if you want to know what it is. And for that meeting, I hired a couple of professional dancers who performed 3 Latin dances at the meeting. And that was amazing. Everybody liked it, and now they're asking for more. And they want to learn how to dance. So it's another way to create the excitement, to bring a different element to the meeting. And it's just, it was a theme meeting. So, and now next month, to promote what we're going to be doing with our fundraiser, I'm going to have a meeting on March 18th that is called Pickleball Magnus. So I'm going to have somebody from Perrysburg Pickleball Club. We're going to be speaking about pickleball and create that expectation, that excitement in the community. And then we can come together as the club that is supporting this project here in the city, but also the members of the pickleball club that want to see this, the pickleball courts in the community. So just have that, theme. Think about, what is happening in your town, and then how you can connect those elements with Rotary, like the Winter Fest or, something like that.
Right. And hopefully you can all just get a glimpse of the kind of the energy that Lorena can bring to things, and just she's bringing things to life, bringing an energy, bringing a creativity to what she's doing. And it pays off, because many of these things may be, it seem internally focused, but I tell you that energy kind of catches on. And so we have a pickleball meeting in person, and where is a pickleball article that we're going to be sponsoring that's already been in the newspaper saying what we're going to be sponsoring. So it's just connecting all the dots and building and creating that energy. So I've been super impressed with what you've done this year, Lorena.
Thank you so much. Coming from you, it means a lot. Allison, thank you.
Coming from the girl who dressed up in a Batman costume, like they're giving goal, right?
Yeah.
So good. Well, thank you so much. Everybody give Lorena a round of applause. We appreciate you being with us.
Thank you for inviting me. Thank you, guys.
Yeah. So I want to kind of turn it back to the DGEs to do a little reporting out of what you talked about in your breakout room. That's kind of how we're going to wrap up the night tonight. And Michelle, I guess I'll turn it over to you to kind of facilitate that part, if you don't mind.
Sure. So who was going to report out for 6600?
So for 6600, it's going to be Cindy Binkley, from president-elect of the Toledo Club.
All right. Hello, everybody. So the first question was, oh my gosh, now I got to think about it, what our story was, and how, what we wanted to get out there about our club. And the BG Club presented that they like to really talk about the rich history of Rotary in BG and try to get the message out about all of how long they've been in service and all the different activities that they do and the different opportunities of things they're adding to the community. Ottawa Glandorf talked about a big festival they have each year that they usually have about 5,000 people that attend. And they've been able to use the Rotary tents for that, been happy about that. And that when they didn't have it, oh no, that's the thing. Illyria talked about a steak fry that they have every year. And since they didn't have it during COVID, many members of their community were reaching out, wondering when it was going to be and if they were going to start it back up again. And they talked about a fried ice cream booth that they have at a festival. And they usually have about 3,000, they sell about 3,000 fried ice creams, and how the line is about a football field long, exciting stuff getting it out there. And then the gentleman that runs the E-Club out of Columbus said that their district is rather unique in trying to get information out there and getting people together, and that they actually are getting members from all over the world joining, and that was pretty exciting.
Awesome. That's great. Thank you, Cindy. What about 6630?
Amy Ingram's going to do for us.
Yeah, we utilized that time to also to kind of talk about our goals for the year from Public Image, and we also talked about one of the clubs did a really great while they were in COVID. They came up with an outdoor event that they could do that turned out so great that they're going to do it again even post COVID. So we were like, imagine Imagine a time when Rotary can take these things we learned and then expand upon them. And we'd like to consider doing it as a whole district challenge. That was utilizing some folks coming in, shredding all of their materials. So it sounds like a really fun event that we can get other clubs involved with. And we also talked about the sharing, what we need from each other, and getting more clubs to share what's going on in their events and how we can do that more efficiently and effectively to put our messages out there.
Wonderful. Thank you, Tina. Sounds like you guys had a productive use of time. That's great. 6650, Elaine.
Patrick Leeper was telling us about the pollinator gardens that the Cortland Club has been putting in partnership with the Ohio Extension Office. And then the Oroville Club reported about a trailhead that they put in that will eventually be part of the Erie to Ohio Trail. And both of these clubs are using Rotary branding signing. Canfield talked about replacing their gazebo in the square of their village, 3 years to raise funds, and a groundbreaking in April. So a big accomplishment there. Salem talked about their 100th anniversary project of a recreational field. They have raised $150,000, and this field will be near where the community center is, where the club meets. It will include a volleyball and cross training. And they were talking about how they led their campaign through billboards around the community, and which led back to their Facebook page and web page branding. And then I don't know what club Gabriel Ferguson was from, but she told us about Canva and how she's been using that as a template program for their Facebook page and how easy it is. That's like the third mention now of Canva. Denison reported about their twice a year blood profile health checkup. They do 80 tests for $50, and this past test period, they had over 1,200 people come. They register through Facebook, on social media. Alliance talked about the success of their flag program and their partnership with the Boy Scouts. And the Youngstown Club talked about how they increased membership during the pandemic, all through Rotary branding.
Great, thank you. 6670.
Stephen King, the PE of our Cincinnati club, was presenting.
Thank you, Mr. Scott. District 6670 took a little bit different tact with our breakout session. We got probably a little distracted because we were so in awe of Allison and Laura's public image presentation, partially because our own Heidi Schiller had taught some of us some of those same messages and same lessons at our Rotary Leadership Institute. And we were reflecting on the importance of the brands and reflecting on the importance of our public image throughout websites and social media. And we got to talking at length about social media and what worked and what themes were working to actually gain more than just likes among your existing membership, but what could actually get outside of the spheres of just Rotarians sharing information with Rotarians. And Heidi shared some of her experience across the district and what she's observed. And I think a lot of it was very relevant. I appreciate that, Heidi. The thing that I took away was that video outdrives images and pictures outdrive text. I think, I know the Cincinnati Club could do a much better job of increasing the amount of video. We have a talented former news broadcaster amongst our members, and she's been pounding the table, telling us we need to use more video, and I think she's right. The other tidbit that I took away from our discussion was that you always want to leave a call to action in your post. Your post might be saying something relevant about what has just happened, but there can be a call to action about what's about to happen, all in the same breath, right? So you have all this content related to what just happened. There can be a call to action to go to your website and to go check out your upcoming events. So thank you, Heidi and District 6670.
Thank you, Steve. That was a lot of good information there too. And last but not least, 6690.
Yeah, Marty Conley, president-elect of the Rotary Club of Ironton, is going to report out for our group.
All right. Claudia led a great conversation with us. One of the things that were most attractive, I'll use my example, is that we're over 100 years old. The show that the longevity, the camaraderie that we have, things that we've done in the past, the tradition really shows our community that there is that strength there in our Rotary, and felt that that was a very attractive point for our Rotary Club in Ironton. Some of the other things, Lawrence from Grove City talked about a program that they are working with on like a Build-A-Bed program with a local Home Depot that shows how they can help the community out that way as well, which was great. We also talked briefly about the discussion of some of the members of a certain club have brought some people in that are very good in marketing, or that is their job. And those folks have been great to step up and work the marketing for those programs through social media, through flyers, through website, whatever it may be, and the impact that they've had on their club in just that turnaround. I mean, it goes to show you the impact that social media will have on a club. And Claudia asked us to, on the theme with Imagine Rotary, is to think of the song Imagine by John Lennon. We all think of that song and really kind of put a word behind imagine and think of how, imagine this or imagine that, and how that would affect Rotary and in turn. So it was a good conversation. So I'm very proud of our district 6690. Thank you.
Great.
Go ahead, Allison.
Yeah, sounds like a great conversation. Really appreciate everybody being a part of this tonight. I know you're just a few weeks out from going to Columbus, and you'll have more chances to idea share there with your own district and with presidents all over Ohio. It's going to be a great experience. I'm really excited you'll all get to be a part of that. DG East, is there anything else you want to say before we let all of these volunteers go back to their families?
Yep, absolutely. I'll just close this out. Thank you all so much for being here tonight. I really enjoyed hearing all of your ideas. I'm inspired even more than I was before, so that's always a wonderful thing. I want to thank Allison and Lorena and Laura for being here tonight and helping to run this session for us. And of course, to my awesome and wonderful fellow DGEs, I love you all, and I'm looking forward. We haven't been together yet in person very much either, and we're seeing all of your smiling faces there. Just a little shout out, if you have not yet registered, you can still, although the window is quickly closing. The hotel has said that they'll stop reservations as of Sunday. So if you have not yet registered, please do so. Very much looking forward to Columbus. And then don't forget about our project, our service project with My Very Own Blanket. We are still collecting those. Please see your DGE if you have any questions about that. Remember, it is a contest. So the district with the most blanket donations per capita will be the winner, and that'll be announced at PETS. So with that, thank you all again for a wonderful evening, and we'll see you in a couple weeks.
You may say I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. We all have dreams, but acting on them is a choice. And when organizations like ours dream big things like ending polio and creating peace, it becomes our responsibility to make these dreams a reality. You don't imagine yesterday, you imagine tomorrow. Imagine a world without polio. Imagine a world with clean water for everyone. Imagine a world free of disease. A world where every child learns to read. Imagine kindness and hope and love and peace. And that's, my dear friends, why our theme is Imagine Rotary.